I don't know if you've noticed this, but hedgehog numbers have apparently plummeted over the last decade, with the population down by a quarter. In our final Autumnwatch report this week, our environment correspondent, David Gregory, looks at the problems they face.
Yes, and while traditionally at this time of year we're told to check our garden bonfires for hibernating hedgehogs, it turns out there's much more we can all do to help.
In their garden, the quinces are ripening in the warm autumn sun, but inside this animal rescue centre, they're working hard to get their hedgehog guests fit and ready to tackle winter in the wild.
Now, hedgehogs that are born very late on in the year into the autumn just won't survive hibernation through the winter. So here at Kewen House Rescue in Much Wenlock, they've got some babies that they'll be keeping here and then releasing next year. So let's try and film some with our special camera.
But the future for these youngsters is uncertain because the British hedgehog population has decreased sharply in the last decade.
Well, 25% in 10 years is pretty steep decline, and it is concerning. They've recently been added to the Biodiversity Action Plan, which is a schedule that highlights species that are maybe in trouble and need extra protection.
So hedgehogs are in trouble, and one of the problems they face is these red rubber bands that are often used by postal workers to hold together bundles of letters.
Once dropped on the ground, they can become potential death traps for hedgehogs. This rubber band had to be surgically removed from this hog, who went on to make a full recovery.
OK, so this is a hedgehog that's going back tonight.
Yeah.
How does this cause so much trouble for them?
But if you look at their spines, they're really crossed over, and if anything gets stuck in those, it's almost impossible for the poor hedgehog to get it out themselves.
Yes, they're not organised as I always thought they might be. There's quite a tangle.
It is. In pictures you'll see them very organised, in paintings and people's drawings, but in actual fact they're quite crisscrossed.
So once this gets in there, it causes problems.
Really difficult to get off, yeah.
Important as it is not to drop litter, there are plenty of other problems for our shrinking hedgehog population.
One of the biggest ones is loss of habitat and fragmentation of habitat, where gardens that used to be linked up are now high fences and walls securing the gardens, but unfortunately stopping hedgehogs trundling through, and they'll walk 1 mile to 2 miles in a night, so they need a lot of gardens.
So if we tackle our back gardens, these babies might enjoy better prospects when they wake up next year.
They're fascinating creatures, aren't they?
That really cute, aren't they? And David joins us live.
Yeah, he's
now
in
from
Wolverhampton, isn't he?
Yeah.
On a street where they're determined to help hedgehogs, I understand. Is that right, David?
That is indeed right, Nick. In this community, they're trying to help hedgehogs. The man who can explain more about it is Martin Harrison, and he's with us now. Martin, what are you trying to do here?
What we're trying to do is raise awareness of these prickly mammals to try and get local people involved in trying to look after them and improve the habitat for them.
So what can people do in their gardens? What are people doing on this street?
There's a few things that people can do in the gardens. A lot of new gardens are very fenced off and there's no holes anywhere, and hedgehogs can walk up to 2 miles to find food in the night, so they need holes. So if you can make a small hole in your hedge or your fence so the hedgehogs can get in and out. If you've got a pond, they can swim really well, but they need somewhere to get out. So if you can put a few branches or stones so they've got a ramp to get out. Also you can feed them some meat-based dog or cat food, preferably not cow's milk because they don't digest that very well, and also put some fresh water out for them, and that'd be ace. And
if people do all that, is it a lot of extra work to make your garden hedgehog friendly? Not
really. Another thing that I didn't mention them is to leave a bit of a messy area so they can use the decaying leaves to forage for food and also to make the nests. So no, it's not hard work at all.
Martin, thank you very much for that. And thank you to Joan, who's been our hedgehog handler this evening. Obviously, she's been shamelessly upstaged by that hedgehog there. If you want to learn how to make your garden more friendly for hedgehogs, all the details are on my blog at bbc.co.uk/David Gregory. That's it for Autumnwatch on Midlands Today, but the main programme continues on BBC Two at 8:30 tonight, and the team are in the Cotswolds looking at the deer rut.
Thanks, David. Oh, it's a shame. I've really enjoyed looking at those lovely pictures of wildlife. Really gorgeous.